Hey everyone, welcome back. Long time no speak. Yes, well, some kids need more looking after than others, I think it's fair to say. Right, I've got today a little folio I've been working on. I'm making a Christmas journal, and I was looking for something different to put inside, and I thought, okay, let's give this a go. It is, or could be used as a little standalone notebook. So if we go inside, on this side we have a little, there's about 8 pages I think on this one, and we have just a very plain back cover, and then this side hasn't been decorated yet. I can't make my mind up. I never do that until last. So we have the top and the bottom flap, and then it opens out. I think these will probably be photo mats, and then opens out again. If I zoom out a bit, so you can see it in all its glory. That's what I'm going to be doing, or showing you how my process for doing it. Right, there we go. I'll be right back. Right, let's get down to it. I've got, this for me is a piece of A4 card. So what I've done is I've put it on my scoreboard and I've centered it. So it's A4 is just well, this particular A4 is just under 11 3/4. They come in, colour card seems to come in lots of different sizes. So this is, you've got to take each piece as you're using it. So I've centered it, and I've scored a 1/4 inch either side, or an 1/8 to make a 1/4 inch spine either side. So there and there. I'm hoping that that's showing up. And then I've also, because I'm actually going to be sewing this into a signature, I've actually marked the centre position, because that's where I'm wanting to put the holes in. So you can see I've centered it. So there's my the light's a bit bright. I've got a mark in the centre, top and bottom, to allow me to line up the holes I'm going to make for sewing them in. And then I've got a 1/4 inch spine. So if I fold it over, it might make a bit more sense. So, like I said, this is, for me, an A4, although A4 this seems a bit small, but I've gone with it. So there we have either a standalone, or for me, sewing in the signature. So I'll get rid of the scoreboard for a minute. Okay. Now I've cut matting pieces, i.e. bits to go in the middle. I've got so much Christmas stuff, stash, designer pads, what have you. And I've gone through one particular pad and I've cut out bits which I think are going to suit the journal that I'm making. So they will go on there, but I'm also going to, so I've got my papers. I think I've got some plain, there's some patterned. So that's my own sort of Christmas background, which I'm going to collage on eventually. I've got a poem on winter, and this one is a calico collage one, and I will put a link in the description below for that one, and then the centre. So I'm going to sew this, I'm going to put that on first, and then I'm going to sew this in. I'm just going to line my papers up where I actually want them, and then I'm going to, so first things first, punch holes to enable me to sew it. Right, that's, and I just like to peg it so I know they're not going to move. Right, so I'm going to glue this one mat in first, because as I found when I was having a mess around with it, this is about the third version I think of it. Alright, I did actually write the sizes on, but then I suddenly thought, actually, the glue's not working. The mat very much depends on the size of paper that you started out with. Whoa, come on. Oh, it's been like me kids, uncooperative. I think it's because it hasn't been used for so long. It's going, no. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is about the third version of this. Here, when you get halfway through and you think, aha, that really isn't going to work. So I want this nice and stuck on. I've allowed about 1/8 of an inch gap because I like the blue that I'm doing it onto. So let's try. There we go. Spread that out. Right, now what I'm going to do is these papers are going to fit along that seam there, so that they will fit there, and then the rest of the fold out will go the other side. So let's make this a nice crease. Right, now I've got this punching thingy. I do get asked about these, and the Etsy shop where I got this one from no longer sell. Well, actually, it's no longer a shop anymore. I got it up the right way. Always important. I need to try. Now, these papers, although they're all sold as A4, are actually just a slightly different size. So let's try them. I could have cut them all down. No, I'm quite happy doing it like this. Now, I keep bits of paper, graph paper, that's what I use when so I just get it standard all the way through. And if you've got 6 signatures to sew in, I like to try it. I just find this so much easier. So I always use would normally use 6 signatures with 5-hole pamphlet stitch. This one I'm going to have 3. So I've got my templates. So I'm just going to do one down there. Get a bit centered, so I've got one at the end. I'm just doing one in the middle, and then this one at the end. So I've already got my needle threaded. My thread is 3 times the width, the length of the paper. Now I like to start in the back, so you don't actually see the cotton. Although on this one you might. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that. See. Oh, oops. Pegs come off. That's that one. Back up through the middle. And then through the last hole. So that's your basic 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So, right, now bear with me because normally I've got this balanced on my lap to try and try not to, on account of fingers don't always go where I want them to. Right, so I've gone underneath to try and pull it tight. Now for this one, because it is, let's get rid of the needle. And now I'm just going to tie it in a knot. And pull that nice and tight. And now I'm going to do a double knot on that one, and then I'm going to trim these off, but I am going to leave some on so I can tuck it under when I come to sew it in my journal. Right, so that is 1/2. Where's my back page gone? So that will be the back page, or the very back of the book. And I've got my notebook. Let's get rid of the needle. Okay. Now then, bits bigger inside. So, mock-ups. Always, I've learned, I never go straight in there with designer paper or expensive coloured card. So I've got some prints that didn't work out. So for me this is A4, 11 and just over 11 3/4. So I've scored it. I will put the sizes underneath, so don't panic. So I've taken mine, I've scored it at 1/2 inch, and then again at 3/8, which will give me, once I put it on, will give me 1/8 of an inch fold, just a little bit so I can put things underneath. And then I've scored again at 6 1/4, because when I fold it over, it then is the right length. So those are my measurements, but use whatever works for your particular paper. Right, so that's that bit. Now then, I'm going to glue this bit on first. So I've folded down the actual first crease line. I've also mited the corners, so it's not quite as bulky when you come to glue it in. So let's put a bit of glue on it. I'm just using art glitter glue because that's my personal preference. Whatever you've got, double-sided tape. I never quite mastered the art of double-sided tape. Right, and then it's just lining it up. Bit of excess glue. I'm trying to keep my dark colour paper clean. So that's my first bit. Oh, why can I never find a ruler when I'm at one? Let's use this. What I want to do is just get the second crease to come back up, so I can, there we go, because I've flattened it and it's like, this is really heavy cardstock. I think it's something like 300 GSM cardstock. Perhaps not what I'd first choice for the inside of a journal, but I haven't got anything else in the colour that I like. Right, so there's the first bit. So there's your fold out. And then I've got two flaps. So, which will go, they will sit in there and come over the top. So, your little folio. They will sit like that. Now, fastenings. It's always, oh, I'm about to run out of time. I'm going to use some seam binding, so I'm just going to go and grab the seam binding and then I'll be right back. Right, that was the one thing I never got out. So I've got some seam binding, which is what I thought I'd use, but then while I was mooching in the box to get it out, I found 3mm ribbon. This one is, it's like bootlace ribbon, and I'm thinking actually that might be nicer and would add a bit less bulk perhaps. Now I've cut some papers to go on the back of these, and I've got like my mats, so that will be my mat. Oh, choices. Oh, the white one doesn't look. I quite like the ivory because it's going to go with that paper. Right, that's what we're having. Let's get rid of those. So I need to put this on before I stick these on because they're going to come over the top. Okay, let's open it up. So I have a bottom flap and I have a top flap. And my mock-ups again, because nothing works normally unless I try with a mock-up. I took a piece of paper. I haven't got. Let's. Oh, this is what I think I'm going to be using. I took a piece of paper and I cut it down 5.5, so it's 5.5 wide. So I've got the top and the bottom are both exactly the same width. So there's no, I've got no overlap. For me, that was the easiest way of doing it. I cut the bottom piece at 6 inches, so it's 6 inches from top to bottom. Same as on the flip out, I've scored at a 1/2 inch and then at 1/8 of an inch to give me the nice sort of fold like that once it's on. So, and then the top piece I cut to whatever was left on the strip, so it's exactly the same width. I just cut it. I hate wasting the expensive card, so that's what I've done. Right, I'm going to fold over on the 1/2 inch score line because those are the bits that need lining up top and bottom after I've put my stuck my ribbon down. So let's just score those. Right, how much ribbon are we going to need? So, I think that should probably be enough. So I've gone, is it all on? Yes. Just over top and bottom. In fact, that's probably going to be too much, but that's, I'd rather have to trim a bit off than to try and tie a bow in something that isn't going to work. And I'm just going to cut it straight down the middle. Now I am just what looks to be the middle. So from that score line there, my hinge, to that first score line there, let's go about there. and about there. So that's going to be the first one. This is just to hold it in position. Oh no, that one's got to go. This one round. Because it will get covered up with the matting that's going to go on here. Right, number one. So let's do the top flap. Like I said, oh, I haven't mounted things. I just want to cut the corners off. You don't need to chop massive stuff, it just takes some of the bulk out. So I've just done it from the 1/2 inch score line. Okay, try again. And to all the lovely people that have been asking, am I okay? They haven't heard from me. Oh yeah. First and foremost, I'm a foster carer. And some kids need more looking after than others. Right, I'm going to have to move it. So I apologise if my head gets in the way, but I'm not very good at eyeballing these. So mine are slightly shorter than I've allowed about 1/8 of an inch between. Let's make sure that's on straight, otherwise that is going to look really weird. So I've allowed 1/8 of an inch between my flap and that score line, and the same with that one there, so that it folds. Oh, I pulled my ribbon off. Folds a bit better. Let's put a bit more. Oh, sorry. Have kids, have colds. Okay. And the bottom flap. This isn't rocket science. This is just something I thought would be fun to do. But it's provided lots of entertainment to the kids as I've been going, oh, for goodness sake. Let's make sure I get these level. Okay, these come down. This is why I'm such a fan of glue rather than double-sided tape, because you've always got a chance of pulling it back up if it's not quite right. Right, that works. Let's just make sure they're all pushed in. So that. Make that bend. And then that will tie on there. Okay, way! And that's something I should have done to begin with. Let's just screw that bit. That's better. Right, now I'm going to start in the middle and put some mats on. So my very first one now, that wants to go in the middle. I think my glue's having an off day. It's like, I don't want to play. Let's get rid of that bit. Okay, let's see if we can line this one up. So, that's that one. Okay, let's do these two. Right. I've got a bigger piece and a smaller piece, so I'm hoping these are from, I haven't actually told you where these designer papers are from. Winter Wishes, first edition, blimey I can't see for looking, first edition paper, Winter Wishes these ones are. So I might just speed these bits up and then join you at the other side. Okay, let's do it that way. So now we have a little folio. That would be really nice as a standalone one. Like I say, I've done it to go inside a journal, but very nice little folio. So I am, I think, going to put on, I think I'm recording now. Oh joy. Right, if I haven't, I've decided to make these, because this is going to be a signature, I've decided to take what I would normally cover my signatures, so the beginnings of each of a signature when I make a book has a nice, sort of, a nice picture thing to it. So I've cut them up, what would have been this particular signature, and I'm going to put them on the front. So, as you can tell, I've been doodling. I'm into gnomes at the moment. So the kids have been making up gnomes, or painting them on stones and on cars. Yes, I know it's a bit early to be thinking about perhaps Christmas decorations, but they're not going to be allowed to go out trick-or-treating this year, so we need to focus on something else. So Christmas. Christmas, oh yes. The best of times and the worst of times. Let's... Oops. I want to keep you over there because I need to glue that down properly after. Let's see if we can get this one to mirror that one. Oh, I like that as a standalone little gift. So we have that item. So there we go. One completed, not bad, little, well, like I say, it could be either a standalone little folio notebook, or for me, I'm gonna have a go at putting this, actually sewing it into my journal. Right, I hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it won't be quite so long before the next video, depending on sweet little children. Right, you take care, and I will speak to you all later. Bye now.